And welcome back to the Hot Lap, where we will be asking, is Las Vegas ready for the Grand Prix? And as we know, the Grand Prix is going to be a week this Sunday. It's currently Friday, the 10th of November. Interesting story on Planet F1. Disaster in the pit lane. Will it be a pit lane exit, more to speak, of disaster? And it says here, F1 has revealed their brand new building for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. But the image could, it says, reveal a tricky part of the track. Now, as we know, a little over a week away, and we've got all this build up and a track that's never ever been raced on before. And it says here teams are facing a daunting task, and the hardest hurdle, may well be that turn one, which we'll have a look at in a second. I mean, you can see here under our headline, disaster. So the running of the Las Vegas Grand Prix is a little different, it says, than any other circuit on the calendar, with Formula One actually being the promoter of the event. As such, the Twitter account for the race posted an aerial view of the 240 million pit building at the southeast of the circuit. Now, the pit building is fitted, as you can not quite see there, but we'll show you in a bit, with an F1 logo on the roof. It looks pretty much awesome. And it also highlighted an interesting aspect in relation to turn one. Yes, the pit exit for Vegas sees the drivers emerge at the end of the straight and into turn one, requiring them to stay on the left-hand side of the track, it says, in order to avoid a penalty. Yep. And the nature of the left-hander means that drivers who are already on the track, that left-hander and that apex meets with that pit lane exit, pretty much making the racing line meet with cars coming out of the pit lane. And what's more, it says it's just a small distance to turns 2 and 3, both of which are left-handers, meaning that if the driver stays to the right in turn 1, they'll kind of be compromised. And let's have a quick look at it. I'm rolling up here. This is a much better look. As you can see here, turn 1, basically where you see the Heineken logo, that's the outside of turn 1. And the apex is pretty much almost the pit lane exit. So it's going to be interesting, let's say. It might be worth having a go if anyone's got F1 2023 and seeing what that's like. I'm going to certainly do it, and maybe we'll share it on the Hot Lab as to what kind of a disaster that may well be. I mean, fingers crossed it's not a disaster, but, well, it makes things interesting, at the very least, coming into the Las Vegas Grand Prix. But next up, we're talking about these strikes and have they been averted? Well, let's see, shall we? As it says here on crash.net, a historic deal between the union representing 10,000 Las Vegas workers is reportedly being reached with Caesars Entertainment, easing fears that a potential strike could threaten the F1 Grand Prix weekend. I mean, imagine if there were strikes aplenty, it could, people power, so to speak. So earlier this week, it's been widely reported that tens of thousands of workers in the area could go on a 2-day strike. And it's been revealed that the Culinary and Bartenders Union would initiate a strike for 35,000 of its members across its 18 Las Vegas properties. And they kind of include casinos, restaurants, hotels. And it would mark the biggest labour strike in the region, making it, let's be fair, bad news for that Las Vegas Grand Prix. Reported by Reuters, a 5-year deal has been reached with Caesars Entertainment for 10,000 hospitality workers, with unions pushing for those higher wages. The Culinary Bartenders Union has been quoted as saying an agreement is of historic nature and there'll be significant increase in wages. I mean, fair play to them, I guess. So further negotiations are set to take place ahead of Friday's deadline for a strike, with MGM Resorts International and Wynn Resorts yet to find an agreement. Now, they're looking at 25,000 workers across 9 casinos could, I think, still potentially go on strike if neither MGM or Wynn Resorts appease the unions. And outlined by Reuters, both parties are expected to reach an agreement with the unions following tough negotiations ahead of Friday. I'd like to assume that's today, not the Friday practice or / qualifying of the Las Vegas Grand Prix, but we'll see. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, let's hope that everyone is kind of like happy coming out of this. People have better wages, and we have a fantastic Las Vegas Grand Prix. But there are potentially more problems coming ahead. Could this be the coldest race ever? And that's something that on the athletic.com is saying. F1's coldest race ever. Las Vegas Grand Prix will challenge drivers, teams and tyres. So Formula One has invested over $500 million in the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Now, it's new, its shiniest race, hopes it's going to be a calendar highlight for decades. So we've got it says the glitz and glamour of holding an event in one of the world's most vibrant entertainment cities. There is still a race to run that holds the same value as any other, 25 points. The drivers will go through their usual preparations, it says. They'll complete laps in the simulator, going on that new circuit. They'll anticipate the car setup requirements. They'll even have to adjust their sleep for the 10 p.m. start time. Another night race, kind of like Singapore. But the late lights out time is said to impact F1's biggest variables, and that's the temperature. So as the 20 cars hit speeds of, it says, 200 miles per hour, there's a massive long straight. The temperature could be between 41 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 5 to 10 degrees centigrade. I mean, let's be fair, that's not, that's cold. Now, the average low in Las Vegas throughout the November is 46, which is 8 Fahrenheit. It says at 8 degrees centigrade. So this is likely to be one of the coldest races in F1 history. The record low was, it says at 41 Fahrenheit, 5 degrees C. Centigrade at the 1970, before most of us was born, 1978 Canadian Grand Prix held in Montreal in early October, and it's probably the first time that we expect conditions this cold, said Mario Isola, the F1 tyre chief for Pirelli. He told The Athletic that he acknowledged it will be a big unknown for the tyres, and we'll get into that in a bit. Other cold races, I think it was really, really cold in Turkey and the Nürburgring in 2020. There are really, really cold races as well. So let's get into that. I mean, they've obviously mentioned the tyres. Tyres are a big thing. Just ask Mercedes at the Brazilian Grand Prix. This is an slightly older article from September on autosport.com that I wanted to share by Adam Cooper. Hello, Adam. And it says both Fridays and Saturday's race will start at 10 p.m. Nevada time, with the latter potentially running until midnight if there's a red flag. Records suggest that mid-November ambient temperatures are likely to dip below that 10 degrees, which we know. Those sorts of numbers will clearly put a premium on getting tyres into the right window, especially for those qualifying laps at the start and safety car restarts. And imagine a red flag as well. I mean, even the first standing start could be quite interesting. And it says, but it'll depend on exactly how cold it is, said Mercedes trackside engineer Andrew Shovlin when asked by Autosport. Because if the track is down in single figures, that's often a region where you go winter testing. You do a run, it's very difficult for the tyres to either get them switched on, or there may be graining, as you can see in the picture there, and things. And then sometimes you have to wait till it warms up a bit. So actually, having to sort of race and qualify in those conditions will be interesting. He went on to say, you just try and identify the risks with the new circuit, work out what your contingencies will be, whether you need any sort of specific car spec to deal, excuse me from the phone, specific car spec to deal with that. And we're going through that at the moment, he said. But as I said, if it's very cold, at the cold end of predictions, it's difficult to know how those tyres are going to work. Now, AlphaTauri team engineer Jonathan Eddowes, he agreed with the comparison with the testing. He said the temperatures are going to probably be one of the biggest challenges. I think we're expecting 10 degrees centigrade of ambient, so very much like winter testing. In many years, we've done winter tests in Barcelona at those sorts of temperatures, so it's not going to be completely new to us. But definitely, it's quite a step away in terms of where we're going to be operating the current tyres in what would be a normal season. So yeah, winter testing, you kind of allow for that. But this is going to be, a competitive session. Winter testing is all about learning the car. The race is obviously all about winning or how far you can go. It's going to be interesting because those tyres, setup's going to be really, really key. Brazil last year, Red Bull really struggled on those tyres. Brazil this year, Mercedes were struggling on the tyres. Singapore, Red Bull really struggled with the setup as well. Thank goodness it's not a sprint weekend. But those practice 1, 2 and 3 are going to be absolutely key and essential. So I guess we'll see. But moving on to a much happier story I wanted to end with. This is from planetf1.com, Jamie Woodhouse. He says, Max Verstappen shocked 9-year-old cancer survivor with heartfelt message. Yep, he gave 9-year-old Harry Sinclair a moment he'll never forget with a special video message during the STV Children's Appeal. Now, Verstappen has taken the world of Formula One by storm, as we know, the most dominant year ever, winning 17 of 20 races, 10 consecutive wins. And Formula One is now preparing for the Las Vegas Grand Prix, but Verstappen had another very important piece of business to attend to, it says. Harry was sadly diagnosed with leukemia at only the age of 5. But after 3 years of treatment, the amazing news came in 2022 that Harry was cancer-free. Well done, Harry. And now volunteers with his family for the charity It's Good Too, which supported him through this treatment. And as part of the STV's Children's Appeal show that to air on November the 10th, so that's today, at 9 o'clock, 2100 hours, local time, Verstappen made a special video appearance with a message to Harry, who dreams of being an F1 driver. Hi Harry, Max Verstappen here, his message began. I've heard your story and also how hard you and your sister Grace have worked to raise money for the charity that helped you. I think you're amazing, and I also hear you're a huge racing fan and an aspiring F1 driver, so thank you very much for all the support, and I hope to see you in an F1 car very soon. And in a rather stunned reply, Harry uttered, "Oh geez." Fair play to Max Verstappen. I know he's been criticised in the press in respect of not doing too much, and people have compared him and Hamilton. Hamilton, yes, he does do a lot, but Max is, I think, by his own admission, and even interviewed with Kelly Piquet, his other half, quite a private person, which you can't knock. So I think it's fantastic I think it's brilliant that he's done this. Absolutely brilliant. I would love more from that, but obviously, Vettel again through those dominant years was also a private person, and I guess away from the track you can't really begrudge them at all, can you? But Max Verstappen, F1 showing he is definitely the 3-time F1 champion today, and you imagine the story now if Harry did go into a Grand Prix. They're going to be replaying this. Get best of luck, Harry, and congratulations. Anyway, this has been the Hot Lap. We will speak to you next time. Goodness knows what about. But is Las Vegas ready for the Grand Prix? I'd say almost, but maybe not quite. But they've got a week to go. So let's see. Fingers crossed. Like and subscribe. I'll get to your comments as soon as I can. Thank you very much.